What's up, everyone? Your girl Miranda here, and today we are making one of my absolute favorite, like, fall, not even fall, but just any time of the year kind of soup. Today we're making albondigas, which is Mexican meatball soup, you guys. Now, there is a number of ways that you can make this. It all just kind of depends, what part of like Mexico you're from, or just however you really want to make it. It doesn't matter. But I'm going to show you guys the way I make it. This is the way I've been making it since I actually met my husband. Before, I didn't quite make it like this. But anywho, let me just go ahead and show you guys all the things that you're going to need, and then we will get started. So right in here I have like 2 pounds of hamburger meat. You will need 1 to 2 eggs. You are only going to be using the egg whites, not the yolks. You are also going to need some rice. You'll need about like a cup of rice. Then some onion. You're not going to use the whole thing, probably just half of it. Some potatoes. Whatever kind of potatoes you like to use is fine. I have red potatoes here. You're going to need some baby carrots. You'll also need, in here, I have some cabbage. So you'll need some cabbage as well. Then I like to add, since it is beef meat, I like to add some of this Nor Suiza, the beef one. Or so if you have like beef bouillon, that's what this is. So I like to add some of that. And normally, what I really would like for you to use is cilantro, fresh cilantro. Unfortunately, I forgot to pick some up yesterday when I went to the farmer's market. So to replace that, I'm going to add a little bit of parsley and a little bit of oregano just for that extra flavor. But again, I preferably use cilantro, you guys. And then these last ingredients, you guys, this is actually going to be optional. This I do to make the soup kind of a reddish color and also to give it that little bit of extra flavor. Now in here I have 2 tomatoes. They're really small ones, so that's why I'm using 2 of them. So, I mean, if you have like a really big tomato, that's fine. Then I have 2 guajillo chiles here. And then I have like 8 of these chile árbol. And what I did was I just took all the seeds out. You can leave them in, you guys, if you want like your soup to be spicy. But since, my kids, obviously they don't eat like spicy soups. So I take all the seeds out, but it still gives that like flavor. So, I mean, you can do it seeds in or even without the seeds, because what this is for, like I said, is to give it color but also a little extra flavor. And you're actually going to strain this in one of those like the metal kind of strainers, so that none of like the chile will go into it, but just like the juice. So that's what that's for. But again, this is actually optional, you guys. You don't have to do that part. So what we're going to do here is, to the meat, I'm going to go ahead and add the rice. I'm just going to pour some in there, but roughly it's about a cup or so. And basically the rice, what it does is it helps hold the meat together. And if you need more, that's fine. The egg, so I just kind of crack this on the side of the sink just to kind of make like a little hole in it at the top so that the egg yolk doesn't come out. Like I said, we just want the egg white. So I did that. So now I'm just going to let like all the egg white come out. And this too also helps hold it together. Again, whether you use 1 or 2 is just going to depend on how much of the, like how much meat you're using. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a good mix. Using your hands, guys, so make sure they're extra clean. Wouldn't wear any jewelry. So I'm going to just mix this stuff together with my hands. Kind of just go like this and kind of squish it together. And just incorporate it really well. And then we're going to start to form the meatballs after that. Alright, so it should look a little something like that. You can see the rice is all nice and mixed in with the meat. So now what we're going to do, so I like to have a plate ready here, is you're just going to take a little bit of the meat. I mean, you can make the meatballs as big as you want. I don't like to make them too big because, you know, if you make them obviously super thick, then the cooking time's going to be more. But I just took like some amount like that. And then what you just want to do is kind of just roll it around in your hand a little bit, just to kind of help shape it into, you know, a better looking circle. A better looking ball. And they should just kind of look like that. And roughly the soup, with this kind of size meatballs, it should take anywhere from, it just kind of depends on your stovetop, but anywhere from probably like a half hour to an hour. I think mine is roughly like 45 minutes to an hour or so. But so I'm going to go ahead and do that with all of the meat until we finish making the meatballs. Alright, so here's all my meatballs done. I was able to get 18 out of the 2 pounds of meat that I used. So now you just want to make sure you have a big enough pot. And so what I like to do is I like to put all the veggies in first at the bottom and then put all the meatballs up top. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to add some carrots. You can add however much carrots you would like to. There's no real amount or anything like that. So I'm just going to go ahead and add the carrots. And then, like, as for the potatoes, you guys, you want to make sure that they're nice and washed. I like to leave the skin on them. You can totally peel them and then cut them up. I'm leaving the skin on, so I'm going to go ahead, get these all washed and cut up. Alright, so I got my potatoes cut up here, and as you can see, they are fairly, like, big, thick pieces. And that's kind of what you want so that they don't, like, overcook. So I'm going to go ahead and add these into the pot. Alright, so my onion here, you guys, it really is also just kind of for flavor. You know, we want the soup to be very flavorful. So I'm actually going to cut off just a small piece that I'm actually going to add to the salsa that I'm making. I do already have the chili peppers boiling. You just let them boil until they soften. And then I'm just going to go ahead and cut this. And then I'm going to add this also to the pot. Alright, so my cabbage, I'm just going to take this and I'm going to cut it into like some big, kind of thicker pieces here. Kind of like that. And then these two, I'm just going to go ahead and add into the pot. And this, you can add however much you want. There's no, like I said, for all of this, it doesn't matter how much carrot you add, how much potato, how much cabbage. It's all just to your liking, you guys. So there's no measurements for that. Okay, cool. Alrighty. Get this cut off. So now I'm just going to go ahead and add this to the pot. Alright, so now that I have all my veggies here in the pot, it's now time to add in all of the meatballs. So you just want to grab them one by one very carefully and just place them into the pot. So it should look kind of like that, you guys. And so now what I'm going to do is add in all of my spices and then fill the pot with water. So I have about a tablespoon of this beef bouillon left in here. So I'm just going to go ahead and add the whole thing. Not a whole lot. You can add more. And then I'm just going to go ahead and add some parsley in here. Go like this. And all of this, you guys, is just for flavor. You can totally add some more, whatever you want to add, just to give it that extra flavor. And then I did also forget, you will need some salt, you guys, and this is, you know, salted to your liking, so obviously don't overdo it, but to your liking at least. And mind you, like, if you're going to use salt and you're going to use the beef bouillon does already have salt in it, but I did only add the tablespoon. But since this is actually going to be a lot of water going into there, you might want to add more of like the beef bouillon. Up to you. So yeah. Anyways, I use the 2 pounds of meat because I have a big family, you guys. I gotta feed 6 of us. And when you have like 2 men in the house that eat a lot, you know, they eat anywhere from like maybe 5 or 6 of these meatballs. So yeah. The kids only eat a couple. They don't tend to really eat the vegetables, but hey, you know, what else? So now I'm going to go ahead and fill this. Let me kind of show you guys. Hopefully you can kind of see the seasonings on there. Let me go ahead and fill this with water, and we're going to put this on the stove. Alright, so now that the tomatoes and the chiles are done, I'm just going to go ahead and pour everything into my blender. And if you remember, I added in that onion, that little piece of onion in there. And then I'm just going to let this blend. If you were making like a salsa, you guys, you would add in like some salt and some garlic. But I'm just doing it like this. No salt, no garlic. And so I'm just going to let this blend, you guys. So once it's all nice and blended, it should look like that. And then the kind of strainer that you're going to need, you guys, is this kind. I don't know if you can tell exactly like how fine it is. I don't know, what do you call this, like mesh, I don't know, like a mesh strainer, something like that. So what I'm gonna do is so I have the pot here, and what you're gonna do is just take this, you're gonna hold this over the pot, and then you're gonna pour this into it and just let it strain everything. You can kind of see what's going on there, you guys. So what I do is I just take a spoon. Sorry, guys. I just take a spoon and just kind of stir it around until all of the juice comes out. And so what's left over, you guys, is that. And that's all the stuff you don't want. That's like all the extra seeds from the tomato, the like casing from the chiles. And so now your soup actually looks like that. Like I said, it gets, you know, red in color. And then it tastes even better like once it's all nice and ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead, put this on the stove, cover it. Probably going to set it at like a medium high. And then we'll check back in about 45 minutes or so and see if it's ready to go. Alright, you guys, so 45 minutes later and my albondigas are ready to go. As you can see, like I said, it's changed in color and everything. It's all nice. I tried it already. At this point, before you turn it off, make sure you check for salt. That it's to your liking, that it has enough in it. And just what I do is I take out one of the meatballs and I check the redness inside. And if there's no pinkish, reddish color in there, then you're good to go. So that is how you make albondigas, you guys. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you make this and enjoy. Bye, guys.